Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be doing a review on the Everlast Elite Hyperflex bag. So check it out. So before I do a review of the bag, I want to give you guys a quick close-up of the bag and its components, starting from top to bottom. At the very top, we do have the solid foam ball that has Everlast written in gold vertically on the bag itself. The ball, should I say, not bag, is completely filled with foam that is very firm to the touch. Coming down, you do have the spring, or should I say the secondary spring. So the spring is in the fixed position right now, and you can undo this knob and basically move this pin from the top position to the bottom, and you can see how this will slide. This whole thing will slide down. And what that allows us to do is it unlocks the spring, and then the spring can now rebound. So it kind of gives you that extra rebounding effect. Underneath that is you have the rotating bar. It does say Elite in gold across the bar. The bar is about 19 inches in length, and very similar to other devices on the market like Spar Bar and the Hit and Move. It's basically a rotating bar, and quite frankly, it's my favorite feature on this bag. But you can use this for combinations to work on your defense. You can use it for slipping. You can go underneath it, slip it. You can obviously weave underneath the bar as it rotates. And it's pretty versatile. You can use it for a lot of different uses, both offense and defense. So definitely love that feature. You come down, you do have a height adjustment knob that allows this rod to move up and down on the inside. At the very bottom, you have the first spring. This is a larger than the top spring. You see, this is a much more larger and robust steel spring compared to this one up here at top. And this spring is essentially the same idea as the one at the top. So you can unscrew this top knob and you push this pin in, and you can basically drop this down. You can see this slot right here. And essentially it goes from being in a fixed position where it is right now to being able to bend and flex. So it gives you that reflex motion as well. So I'll demonstrate that here in a second. And then you also have the 4 Allen screws that attaches the metal base to the plastic base that you can fill with either water or sand. It's completely full with water right now. It does say Everlast. It's textured. There is no suction cups. It is completely flat to the ground. And when it's fully filled with water, it's about 50 to 60 pounds. Sand is the preferred way to go, just because sand has more density to it. So it's definitely heavier than water for the same amount of volume. So if you want this to be more solid and not have as much vibration when you hit it, then going with sand would be the way to go. Water will definitely move a little bit more than sand. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and do the review. Hey guys, Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Everlast Elite Hyperflex bag. This bag retails for $199 on Everlast's website, and it's essentially a hybrid bag between a Cobra Reflex bag and a Spar Bar. You basically combine the two, and this is kind of what you ended up with. You have the features of a Reflex bag with both the top and the bottom spring. Obviously you have the ball at the very top that you can punch, and then you also integrate the spinning bar like you see on the Hit and Move or even the Spar Bar that you can use to integrate both your offense and defense with. And quite frankly, this is probably my favorite feature of this bag. Now, earlier in the video, I did do a close-up of the components of the bag, starting from the ball all the way to the plastic base that you can fill with water or sand. Obviously, sand is the preferred way to go. So I'm not gonna go into any more detail in regards to that, and we'll go ahead and get to the actual features and how this bag operates. Now, starting at the very top, you do have this pin at the very top that you can unscrew and unlock. And basically what happens is when you unlock this, or should I say when you loosen this knob, this pin can be pressed in, and then you can slide this down or up. In the up position, the spring is fixed. This top spring is fixed into place. In the bottom position, now the spring can bend. So you do have that option for the spring to bend and give you a little bit of that rebound and that reflex. So it's completely up to you if you want to do that. You want to put it to the top position and lock it. When it comes to the height adjustment, this bag doesn't really have a very good range of height adjustment in my opinion. Right now, it's pretty much at its highest setting. If I go any higher, the actual pole will come out of the bag and you can see just how much you have. So obviously when you slide this in and you rotate the knob, you want to be able to get enough of that pole in there so when you rotate the knob, it can hold it into place. And I'd say at its highest setting, I'm 5'8". This could probably accommodate anybody around 6 feet tall. That's the highest I would go. And the reason I say that is if you want to use the bar component, if you're too tall, this bar is going to be way too low, meaning that you're literally going to be crouching all the way down. And I guess if you want to get a good workout for your legs, that's fine. But for being realistic and weaving underneath punches, it's completely unrealistic to be, you know, if I'm fighting somebody, I'm not going to go all the way down here to go underneath the punch, because by the time I come back to try to counter, the guy's going to be 10 feet away. So that's the only thing I don't like with the height adjustment, is that it doesn't go very high, and the bar itself is going to be too low if it does go higher up. So that's the other issue. At its lowest setting, when I release it and I come bring it back all the way down, I'd say, again, I'm about 5 feet tall. It's probably, you know, anybody that's like 4'5" and between 4'5" and 6 feet tall, this would be a good accommodation in terms of height. So there you have it. I'm gonna go ahead and lift it back up and put it right about at my height and lock it into place. So that is the height adjustment. Now the lower adjustment works just like this top adjustment as well. You won't be able to capture it in the video, but it's essentially the same thing. In the top position where it's locked into place with the pin, it doesn't allow the spring to move. So right now, as I'm moving this bag around, it's completely locked into place, meaning the whole pole is one solid piece. I can't move it at all. The base is moving with it. So if I do that. Now, if I were to unlock it and slide the pin down, which I'm gonna do right now. So now I locked it in lower position. Now, I can actually bend the spring and the base stays into place. Now you can see the actual bag is moving and reflexing. And basically this is a kind of another feature that Everlast advertises, that you can kind of use it this way too, where it moves and reflexes and you can keep the bar on here, and it kind of gives you a challenge in terms of like trying to move out of the way and block the bar. So that's completely up to you if you want to use it this way. It's a bit awkward because there's really nothing else out there that moves like this, with the bar moving with that swinging arm kind of swinging. So you can essentially kind of use it like that, and it kind of gives you a very different feel in terms of punching it. And you can see that bar now swings at a different rate because of the momentum of that bottom spring. So you can essentially do that. You can also lock the bottom pin, and then now you have both the bottom spring and the top spring that are completely moving. So now, with everything moving, you can see it just kind of jiggles all over the place. It kind of reminds me of those what are those things that are at gas station, typically in front of like a gas station, and they have a blower attached to it. It's one of those guys that do one of those in front of the gas station. You guys know what I'm talking about. But that's what it kind of reminds me of, is that. And so essentially that's with both springs unlocked and moving. And then obviously with both springs locked into place, it's just going to stay in one spot. When I was hitting this, the one thing I did not like is, even with the base completely filled with water, this bag moves around, in my opinion, way too much. Maybe with sand, it will be a little bit better in terms of stability, but I just feel like the base is too small. I think it needs a heavier base, so when you're hitting it, it doesn't move around. And when I hit the bar portion, you'll notice that even with it locked into place, the bag scoots around too much. You know, and I'm not even really putting any power into my punches. And you can just see how much, and that's with both springs locked. You can just see how much this bag is moving around, and that base is completely filled with water. So that's my only reservation about just how much this moves around. And then again, if I do it with the bottom spring unlocked, you slide that down into place, Now, if you're hitting it, it does offer a little bit more of a challenge. We're kind of getting used to that. I definitely like this feature of the bag. It has much more different feel and it's a lot more erratic. And you can see it's really just, you try to almost get underneath the bar and get away from it. So that's my other favorite feature of this bag, is the amount of movement you get with the lower spring. And you can see that's pretty erratic. I think that's probably the coolest feature about the bag, is that you can have that happen with the bar. And slide that up. I'm gonna lock the bottom into place and just unlock the top now. With the top unlocked and the spring moving, you don't really get much out of this. I mean, the ball moves around and bounces back, but you're not gonna be able to work really any defense with that. I mean, there's just not enough movement back and forth to really get anything out of it, other than the back kind of just moving. Maybe you can kind of use it like a little bit as a rhythm bag. But you can see again, it just kind of wobbles around a lot. So maybe for conditioning, if you're doing machine guns, you can use it for that. That way the bottom doesn't move around too much and you have a little bit of flexibility with that spring, that rebound. You can use it like that. And then let me go ahead and lock this back into place. And this is just showing you guys how quick I can actually lock that. And then now there's no movement to it, it's all one solid piece. My favorite part about the bag is going to be the spinning bar. Again, I wish the bottom base was heavier so I don't get a lot of vibration. The other thing I don't really like about the bar, again, which I mentioned earlier, was the height. So if I'm essentially at this height right now where the bag is a little bit above, nose level with me, so it's essentially pretty much at my height if I'm fighting somebody the same height as me. This bar, you can see it's like right here, a little bit below my shoulder. And I feel like that's kind of unrealistic. And the reason I say that is oftentimes someone's not gonna be punching right here. They're not gonna be punching my chest, right? They're gonna be punching at my face. And because of that, again, there's two sides of the coin. It's good because when you get underneath it, you really have to crouch into your stance, so it's working your legs, so you build up that conditioning for your legs. But it's a bit unrealistic when it comes around and you have to get all the way underneath it and crouch and come back up, and then you have to punch again. So I guess you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as, it just offers a little bit more of a challenge in terms of your legs conditioning. But because of where the ball is at and the location of this arm, the location of it is a bit unrealistic. I wish this arm was higher up, so when it comes, I'm really getting underneath like a real live punch. Like if somebody's throwing the hook at me, they're gonna be trying to throw the hook and land right here on my chin, or maybe land straight onto the nose. So if I'm doing that, I should be able to weave underneath it at a realistic height and not something this low. So that's the only drawback I see with the height of where the bar is at. Now the spinning action, the bearing on the spinning bar is perfect. It spins nice and freely. You see that? Have no issues there. So the actual spinning motion of it is really good. Let me go ahead and put my gloves on so I can demonstrate. And I'm sure you guys have seen other videos. There's a lot of other videos of other similar devices out there with a spinning bar. But essentially, you can work your combination, defense, you could block, boom, boom, block, don't get hit, get underneath the shot, you can pull, pull, pull. You can keep it in a straight line, and you can work on your slipping underneath it as well, just kind of weaving underneath it. You could slip, weave, you could slip, weave, 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 weave. So it does offer some versatility in terms of having that spinning bar. So I definitely like that feature, and to me that's the best thing about this device. Now at the price of $199, I definitely think it's too high. The reason I say that is just the base to me, it feels really, I don't know, it just feels flimsy. You know, when you're hitting this bag, it feels like it moves around a little bit too much. I do like the fact that that bottom spring does offer a little bit of that rebound, but this is not like the other Cobra bags on the market. If you're thinking this is gonna be like the Fierce Reflex or the Q-less bag or the Volley or any of those other Cobra from Amazon I've done a review on before, that you can probably see them back there, it doesn't move like that. So if you're looking for something that's like a standard Cobra Reflex bag like you see from Fierce Reflex, then this is not going to be it. This is a different device than that. I do like that bottom spring. I think the top spring is a bit pointless. I don't really, get much out of that, out of the conditioning aspect. The rotating bar is the best part about this bag, and to me the base definitely needs an upgrade. So I mean, at the price of $200, it would be hard for me to justify paying that for this device unless they beefing it up. I feel like it needs to be, I guess you can say, commercialized, if you want to call it. Make that base big and sturdy where you can put 150 to 200 pounds in it of water. Remove this bag, just maybe keep that solid spring at the bottom where you can have that reflex, and then adjust the height of the spinning arm. And I think that's where this bag would really shine in my opinion. So if you guys have any questions or comments, you guys know what to do. Put them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find this Everlast Elite Hyperflex bag. See you guys later. Take care.